You're 1137, 19 years old. Year 1137, summer, the overseer of Magra. Two major events take place while you're busy living your life. First, Cornelius Tempest is no longer the great chancellor of the empire. He has been ousted and sent back to his province. His replacement is the Archduke of Mania, Agarius Monroe, the same Monroe who sought to shut down the college. The most powerful lord in the realm finally convinced the emperor that his brother Cornelius was giving too much freedom to the lowborn. Now the policies of the empire will be reversed. Many fear that the new great chancellor will destroy the imperial code of laws and other achievements of Cornelius. There are cautious rumors among the people. They say that the new great chancellor is going to revoke the right of the common lot to be ennobled by the mantle. Secondly, Magra, your homeland, now has an overseer, Gaius Tempest, the older brother of Emperor Uther II. Usually the overseer of a province and its archduke. After all, it makes sense for the province's most powerful noble to impart the emperor's will to the locals. Yet now the old tradition has been broken, and no one is surprised. Archduke Terquintius Menelaus is extremely furious. Gaius Tempest used to be the main supporter of his brother, former great chancellor Cornelius Tempest. The nobles of the emperor's court say this is a stratagem by the Archaean gentry, and who want Gaius removed from court affairs along with Cornelius. Either way, Gaius Tempest and Terquintius Menelaus will be the others at each other's throats over the province. This does not bode well for their future. Only one thing is clear: Magra, as your home province, is about to face great changes. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. Okay, power +1, overall -2, order +1, peace, which is good, I think. I don't know. Okay, we're back. A criminal relationship. Uh-oh. Spring is in full bloom. The city of Eterna is a sea of flowering trees. The apple trees are particularly prevalent. You see them growing everywhere in the seminary yard, alone. How nice would it be to sit with a good book, enjoying the apple blossoms and getting lost in important thoughts. But there is no time for that. A recent incident has the entire seminary on edge. One of the senior seminary students has been accused of having a relationship with a witch. The Inquisition has been watching the girl for a long time. When the lovers met and the girl put a floral wreath on the student's head, the Inquisition spies saw it all. The lovers were immediately arrested. You hear about it from Jean. She looks very anxious when she comes to you to discuss the news. Jean, are you going to watch the trial? They're allowing priests and seminary students to attend it. They have to be there. It's an important case. We could learn so much from seeing the Holy Tribunal in action. You agree to go with her. After all, the case is highly unusual indeed. Junius Diamant, one of the leaders of the New Faith, has stepped forth to defend the student and the girl. You have already met with the other leader of the New Faith, Luke, Patriarch of Archnia, but Patriarch Junius holds much more authority. The seminary students speak of him in hushed voices, and only when the instructors are not around. Junius Diamant is more than a patriarch of one of the provinces. He is an Archnian hailing from one of the holy dynasties, the leader of the Holy Order, the Empire's finest knights in their service to the Twins Church. The prosecution will be represented by Father Ulrich. He is a powerful inquisitor and the head of warden of the House of Humility, the fortress that collars all mages and subdues their will to the service of the Inquisition. You have heard him. He is a fierce man, with ardent and merciless in service to the twins. The day comes. The spacious courtroom is filled with people. All the seats are taken. The judges sit at the long table upon the platform. There are 10 of them, all high-ranking members of the church. To the right of them is a man in a black cassock. His head is shaved, and his back is perfectly straight. The man, Father Ulrich, a true and lawful inquisitor, will represent the prosecution. To the left of the judge's table stands an Archnian. He is wearing a white cassock with a cape of white and gold on his shoulders. The Archnian's blue hands rest on the edge of the table, and his expression is that perfect calm. This man, Patriarch Junius Diamant, will represent the defense. To the left of him is the accused, a young man in the seminary uniform and a young girl who looks like she just came back from the foot of the pillar. They are both bound in chains. Even from the distance, you can see that the inquisitors have shown no mercy. The girl's face and neck are covered in bruises. There are bloody wounds on her left hand where her fingernails should be, and her right hand bears a horrible black burn. Loud voices emanate from the stalls even before the trial begins. Some shout Patriarch Junius, while others call out Father Ulrich. There are more and more of these shouts with every passing minute, and soon a judge's gavel can do very little to rein them in. The trial begins. Father Ulrich is the first to speak. Father Ulrich, judges of the Holy Tribunal, and you, my brethren, this is an act of sacrilege beyond compare, committed within the walls of our own seminary. This man is a venomous viper, nurtured in the Church's bosom. He defied all that is forbidden and engaged in the act of hideous lechery, already a malfaction, but worse yet, the object of his lust is an abhorrent sinful witch. The young woman in question looks up. You see the color of her eyes, vibrant, radiant, emerald green, like the other tender grass of spring. You recall a cautionary tale. Such eyes are the musk of a mage who holds sway over wildlife and nature. Father Ulrich, this blasphemer deserves nothing less than true death for what he had done. The walls of the church are no place for traitors of the licentious filth who bring the will of the twins. The world may afford no weakness. As for the witch, put her in a collar and cut off her nose, that her comely appearance may never lead a righteous man astray. Man, that's harsh. That's harsh. With that, Father Ulrich takes a seat. The man who rises next is the Patriarch Junius. He is a tall pillar, and you see an inexplicable power emanating from him. He takes his stand before the judges. Even before he speaks, Jean winces in disgust. To her, an ally of the new faith deserves neither tolerance nor sympathy. He's already drenched in sin, yet he thinks he can talk justice. Junius Diamant begins to speak. Patriarch Junius, may it please the tribunal, the accusation is indeed true. The young man before us is at fault. It was his duty to convince the lady he had befriended to renounce all magic, and yet he encouraged her profane practices. But Father Ulrich's proposal is far too severe. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's pretty severe. I seek no lesser punishment for the witch. This is a matter for the Inquisition, but the young man need not be executed. His life is a subject of my debate. It was not by force that the young man now stands before us. He sought the twins entirely on his own volition, and so I plead with the Holy Tribunal to spare his life. May he instead take the vows and habit of a monk, and a vow of silence, and be subject to corporal punishment, for the ways of the Church are stern but fair. This young man need not lose his life in order to redeem himself. An accusation flies from the crowd, so Junius favors mages, takes them under his wing in the province. Look at the man who dares doubt the law to reject the Orthodox faith. We won't let your kind gain ground in Eterna. This, in turn, sparks a different cry. Another voice accuses Ulrich of being drunk with the power he has acquired by enslaving those who wield magic. Patriarch Junius attempts to pacify his followers as the accusations from the Inquisitor's side keep coming. Father Ulrich marks new condemnation of Junius and the new faith with an agreeable nod, his mouth a crooked smile. The crowd begins to move. Those who side with the Inquisition start pushing the guards to exact their own brand of justice. Junius's followers stand still. Either they rise from a circle around the Patriarch, as well as the man and the woman on trial. Accusations fly, and the air above the crowd grows hot with boiling rage. People are pushing and shoving. You hear screams of panic among the cries of outrage. You and Jean find a temporary refuge on a podium rising above the human sea. The courtroom is becoming dangerous. You must attempt to escape now, or risk being trampled. There is still time. Time for either Patriarch Junius or Father Ulrich to say something to calm the crowd. Remind them that why they are here, but they both froze in confusion, unable to rein in their collective madness. Perhaps you can make your voice heard from atop the crowd, or would it be more sensible to escape the chaos in the courtroom? So I can defend the seminary. You shout in support of the seminary student and cite sacred scriptures to back up your point, or flee the courtroom. You take Jean by the hand and start pushing and shoving through the crowd to escape the courtroom. Honestly, I don't know enough about the situation to defend or demand punishment, so I'm gonna flee. You take Jean by the hand and leave the courtroom before the conflict reaches its culmination. You push and shove through the screaming inquisitors, frenzied seminary students, and red-faced followers of the new faith. As you leave the hall behind you, erupts into screams of rage and pain and fighting. You ask Jean if she wants to stay here and see the end of the trial. Jean: no, I've seen enough. This is too much like what happened to Alice. I don't want to see what happens next. Let's get out of here at once. You make your way back to the seminary courtyard where the apple trees are in bloom. There are so many white flowers you can barely see the leaves behind them. After the din of the courtroom, the quiet here is deafening. So quiet you can almost hear your own heartbeat. Jean looks up at you with a quiet sigh and touches the white petals. Jean, it feels so strange. It's like we're back in Anazot, beneath the branches of the silver tree. I wish I could feel that calm again. Don't you agree? Carefully, Jean's hand touches yours and squeezes your fingers gingerly, and suddenly she embraces you. You gasp with surprise and place your hand on her waist. Is this a chaste hug, or perhaps her breath feels hot on your neck? Her eyelashes flutter against your skin as her arms glide up and down your neck. You are not yet priests. You are not yet one with the clergy. You are not yet bound by the new lot, and for now, anything is possible. Holy shit! We're about to get some, son. She smells so good. A lock of her hair tumbles down from under her headcloth. You gently touch this lock with your lips. Hours, minutes, maybe seconds pass like this. Then suddenly Jean moves away and looks at you defiantly, biting her lower lip. You smile in return. She will embrace you once more, will she not? She steps back. You part ways. Jean heads over to the prayer room. You walk back to the monastic cell. Still, you look back once more before you leave. Jean is there watching you go. When she catches your eye, she looks away and leaves. Alright, we're +1 with Jean. Willpower +10. The second sacrament. You wanted to speak to Jean again, but she disappeared the next day. Some say she was sent somewhere else to study. Strange, why did she tell you nothing? Why did she not say goodbye? You kept waiting for news from her at first, but as the days go by, your thoughts turn to the upcoming exams and the second sacrament. All the sacred scriptures, holy procedures, and sacred hymns have been memorized long ago. You know the names of every disciple and the elder and the younger, all the patriarchs of the provinces from the first to the present day. Most importantly, your faith is strong and your confidence is unshakable. The exams are behind you now. On the day of the second sacrament, you come to the great temple of the twins, already dressed in a priest's cassock. Father Jeremiah holds your belt in one hand, and he will conduct your sacrament. His other hand holds the sacred book. You are to kiss it to show your complete submission to the will of the twins. You approach the altar on the commoner's side. The jagged floor hurts as it bites into your bare feet. There is a hint of pleasure in that pain. Oh, a little bit of a masochist, are we? You kneel before Father Jeremiah on the lowest steps of the leading to the altar. He speaks the words of your new lot above you. Jeremiah, thou shalt now carry out the will of the twins in this world. Whosoever cometh to thee, thou shalt give him guidance. The twins are love and will and law. Thou shalt bring into this world. Thy new lot is to interpret the lots and give counsel and faith. Arise, priest. You kiss the book and stand up, confidence blooming within you. You now know the answers to all questions. You are now a messenger of the true world, one who carries true understanding. You have the power to guide people towards a righteous path, to help them see truth, to help them find answers. For the twins' will it so. New strength fills you by the grace of the elder. You may pray to him to heal and cure those who suffer. By the law of the younger, you may pray to him who binds the foes of his wondrous power. When no one is looking, you reach for your back. The mark of the lash is gone. You feel as though you can breathe more easily now. On the morning after you are to conduct a sacrament for the first time, you walk into the small temple on the outskirts of Eterna. Acolytes are running to and fro, preparing for the ritual while you repeat the words of the lots you must tell the children. Slowly the temple fills with people. You stand at the altar now, the sword in one hand and the lash in the other. 3 boys are to receive their sacrament today, a little nobleman and 2 lowborn boys of the same age. The noble boy's parents are nervous and ask you to hurry with the sacrament, and so you begin. With confidence and proper pace, you recite the words of the noble's lot to the little boy kneeling before you. Then you carefully bring the flat of the sword to his lips. The boy kisses it, and you thank the twins for your breath, under your breath. Now it is time for the commoner's children to receive their sacrament. You notice a movement in the temple out of the corner of your eye. Someone is standing in the doorway. It is the silhouette of a woman. You recognize her. She looks sterner now, harsher, but the most striking feature about her is her eyes. They are cold yet curious. Something glints on Jean's belt now. It is the silver seal of the Inquisition. Do continue, priest. The boys stand before you, just like you and Nathan when you were boys. You were just like them at your first sacrament. The elder of the 2 kneels on the jagged floor. He winces slightly and holds back his tears. You recite the new lot for him and strike him twice with the lash. He shudders, yet humbly accepts his first suffering of his life. They bring the other boy to you next. He is kicking and squirming, and his face is red with tears. They force him to kneel and fall on all fours. The floor draws blood from his hands. Adult hands hold him still. Adult voices chide him angrily. You say the words of his new law and strike him once with a lash. Your lash cuts right through the boy's shirt and soaks it with blood. The boy's cries turn to screams. Oh boy. You raise your head slightly and notice Jean's watchful eye. She is there waiting. You look back at the boy. He looked so much like Nathan, just as frightened, just as distraught, just as defenseless. You hesitate, unsure of what to do. The ritual must be finished by your lot. You must bring forth the will of the twins and perform the sacrament of suffering. But this little boy huddling at your feet is so young. You will no doubt see so much suffering in his life. Perhaps you should show him that the world can be merciful too. Oh my... Oh, boy. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Strike him with all your might. You whip the boy a second time with all your might, just as the sacrament demands. You tell the child to rise. The sacrament is done. Oh man. This is rough. I'm gonna strike the child. You cast away all doubt. You muster all your will, and the lash cuts through the air as it strikes the boy's back again. His skin parts. His blood drips onto the floor. The boy gasps for air, doubled over in pain, then sags in the acolyte's arms. With a stern voice, you tell him to rise and live by the lot he has been given. The boy barely gets back to his feet, then walks back to his mother, panting. You hand the sword and lash to an acolyte and turn to face the altar and say a quick prayer to the twins for the day. You hear quiet footsteps behind you. Jean, I'm glad to see that you didn't hesitate. You must never show mercy if you are to carry out the will of the twins. You help that boy understand the full burden of his lot. That is a blessing that will guide him towards the peak of the pillar. Jean puts her hand on your shoulder, yet she hastily removes it as both of you hear a powerful voice that would make anyone shudder. Father Ulrich, you sure have a steady hand, Brother Saucy. You hastily turn around and see Inquisitor Ulrich appear from the shadows, but he has been watching you perform the sacrament this whole time. Has he been? Father Ulrich, you are correct after all. Brother Saucy is ready to become one of us. That is for me to decide. Jean frowns but falls silent, still pursing her lips. Ulrich turns his heavy gaze to you. For 2 years I've been watching you, Saucy. Now the time has come for you to join our ranks. Ulrich hands you a scroll marked with the silver seal of the Inquisition. Brother Saucy, the Church is appointing you an Inquisitor. You are to return to your native land and protect our true faith against heresy. Jean pierces you with an intense stare. You bow your head and accept the scroll from Ulrich's hands. Then you solemnly fasten the Inquisitor's insignia to your belt. By the will of the Church of the Gods themselves, you are now a servant to the Holy Order of the Inquisition. Oh man, is this the life I wanted? This is the life I chose. I don't know. Henceforth your life belongs to the Order. You shall fight against any apostasy that threatens the Church and her flock. Cast aside your doubts, Inquisitor Brante, and be ready to fulfill your new righteous duty. Prepare yourself to set out for Anazat. A special assignment awaits you there. Sister Jean will accompany you as a fellow Inquisitor. She will tell you everything else you need to know. With that, Father Ulrich abruptly turns away and leaves the temple. Your answer is not required. The will of the Church is the law. You must abide by it. You are left alone with Jean. Your sister in faith betrays no emotions. Her words sound sharp and dry. Jean, the time has come to bid the capital farewell, Brother Saucy. We are leaving for Anazat tomorrow. With that, Jean leaves you alone in the temple. You turn back to the altar and finish your prayer. Alright, we're +2 with Jean. Willpower -5, but it's alright, it's alright. Sacrament of the Priest, you're 1137. You have received your second sacrament. You are now rightfully ordained as a priest.